What's up, guys? It's Zooko, and today I'm going to be showing you guys the top 10 real meta builds in this game. And this is not going to be some like kind of optimized or just like it feels good, so it's right. No, this is every attribute tested, every badge tested, everything that I could possibly test, everything that we know all together from 2K Labs, from 2K Tudes, and also from my own studies of this game because I'm also one of those people. I just haven't made content on it. Um, of the best like sweet spots to reach for all of these attributes to make the real best builds in the game, the most optimized builds in the game, and knowing not only how to play elite defense, elite offense, elite pass lane skills, elite on ball skills, elite, like perimeter defense. Go watch my videos if you don't know how to play elite defense, or if you don't know how to play the pass lanes, if you don't know how to do on ball skills, if you don't know how to guard the pick and roll. Uh, there are certain things that you can do in order to completely shut down a pick and roll to where it complete like I see the highest people at the highest level of pro am playing defense, and if they would watch these videos, they would absolutely shut down a lot of stuff. But people are not like actually adjusting to the game, and this is the problem with the 2K community. They don't adjust to the game. They don't try to learn the game. They don't study the game, and because of that, they just try to make what they feel like they know, what's comfortable for them, and they try to bully the developers into making a game that plays how they want it to. And I'm so happy that this game still doesn't play how people want it to, and you still have freedom to play it how you want. Now, again, if you go watch my defense guide, you're going to be able to know exactly how you can score with this. Not score, play defense with all of these builds in order to make your defense elite at the highest level. Now, without further ado, because I'm actually just going to show you guys all the builds really first, and then we're going to talk about why they are the best builds. Because I'm not gonna lie, Joe Knows just made a video talking about the top 10 builds, and I looked at it and I was like, bro, what the heck is this? I'm not gonna lie, and I love Joe Knows. He's my favorite 2K YouTuber, but those builds are hot trash. Let's get into the real one. So the first one, this one's gonna be a back end, or you can kind of use it at center as well. Let's look at the attributes. Boom. This one's gonna be more of a do-it-all sort of PG. I wouldn't really recommend bringing this into Pro Am unless you're trying to play an elite corner lock. Uh, and still have elite offense to where you can still, get the ball where it needs to go. That's the only way. So that way, no matter where the point guard's throwing the ball to, he has to deal with the 91 steal player. That's the only reason I would bring this into Pro Am. But other than that, if you play this in Parker Rec, that's actually going to really dominate. But in Pro Am, you need to have a little bit more eliteness in other areas. Uh, this is this build. We'll talk about all the attributes in a bit. I'm just kind of going over it. This is just an elite center. This is honestly the best center that you can use outside of that back end. You can play center with that back end as well, that 6'8" one. But this one is honestly the best center that you can make in this game. You can't get any better than this. And we're going to talk about why you need to have a center that can shoot. We'll talk about all this. So that guy. This one is one that's a little bit, for the people who don't have the skill. Even though I think this build is trash, honestly. I had this build and I deleted it. It's not good to me. That once you learn how like everything works in this game, this build is actually like not good. And even for like meta, teams, it's never gonna work. You're gonna be a liability. Um, this is the best PG in the game. That is at 6'6". You can't make a better PG than this. There's no PG that you can make that will be better than this. I've seen every single video that anyone's ever made on a 6'6" guard saying that, oh, he can do everything. He can do everything. Nah, for real, the only thing this build can't do is steal. Everything else is elite. Everything else is elite. Your defense is absolutely elite. We'll talk about it a little bit more. Your passing is elite. Your dribbling is elite. Your shooting is elite. Your dunking is elite. There's no weakness to this build. The only thing you can't do is steal pass lanes. And you can still like play hands up defense and put your hand in between it, and you can still get them like that. You can still do bump steals, so you can get steals, but you're not like just like getting those for free if you get what I'm saying. It's not going to be automatic. Uh, this is the best, honestly. This is the best build to bring into Pro Am as a point guard if you're like skilled and you want to play elite like defense and still have elite offense. There's no better build that you can make than this. This is another PG build. Elite. You have a little bit more dunking on this 6'2". Some people might be like, why would you go for 87? Why not 89 or 94? A lot of people are sleeping on 87. This is what I mean when I say people are not testing these things out. Again, because you have access to less dunks, you know exactly which animation you're going to be using at certain angles. So this build is very dominant. Anytime you have a 98 3-pointer on any build, you're hitting contesteds. But also having access to Patty Mills means, yeah, you get it. You have great defense. You have great scoring ability. You have great passing, great shooting, everything. This is honestly one of the best PG builds that you can make as a small guard. Move on to another one here. This one takes a little bit more skill to use, but it's honestly just as good. This would be the one that I would make before I make the other one, because I already have one that does like that one. This build is honestly broke. This build is god tier. You also have the 93, so you have ankle break on Hall of Fame, which is insane of a badge. That badge is actually really good. You honestly need to have that as a point guard, or you just have to be that much better at making people bite the wrong way and then doing a misdirection and then getting to your open look from there. If you can't do that, then you're gonna be kind of kicky somewhat. But anyways, moving forward, this build can do everything as well. Elite passing, elite dribbling, elite shooting, elite finishing in the paint. If you know how contact layups work, if you know how in general layups work, you have access to Anthony Edwards, you have access to LeBron James, which is really good for just like X layups or like uppers to the left, uppers to the right layups. Is the best layups in the game for like basically ignoring challenges no matter what their anchor is. It just brings you so high up, and since the animation is an animation, it's not based on your height. You're 6'2" and you get up like stupid high for some reason. So it's actually really cheesy, but Anthony Edwards is very fast, so you can throw it up before anybody can contest you if you're playing like 5-0, or if you're playing, pick and fade or pick and roll with the big or whatever. You can do floaters with this. You don't need float game on Hall of Fame, so I went with the 87 just so I can unlock the LeBron. You don't need 88. It's really not worth it. You could say that you want to go 91 for the Slither on go, but in my opinion, you don't need that either. This build is great on defense, elite at everything else. Everything is going to be good on this build. Now, another backend that you can kind of make that's really good is this one. I have this build. This is my favorite build to use, except I don't have the defensive rebounding. I went more for the 90 drive and dunk. I took off the rebounding and I added it to. I forgot where I added it to. I don't remember where I added it to, but I have this build. This build is dominant. You can play on ball, you can play corner, you can play hash, you can shoot really well, you can score. Oh, and I have some post control on the other one, so that way I can still like be a go ahead bucket. If I'm using Pro 3 or Pro 2, shimmy fade or just fade away, or even Austin Rivers post hop shot. All of these moves create insane amount of separation, so just having that on top of having post control and the ability to just bully people, and also have the 45 standing dunk. I'm gonna show you that build as well. So this is a very good back end build. These are the two best HashLocks in the game. I would say you need to have one of each or two of this one. So let's go ahead and show the best one first. This is a 2BH as well. This is the best HashLock that you can make in the game, without a doubt. Optimization wise, any build without diminishing returns, you can't make a better build than this for a HashLock. Go watch my video about the meta HashLock if you want to know more information about this build and why it's so dominant. Anytime you have 94, 91, and 90, you're going to be god tier. Having 77 on top of that is god tier for the goal fast feet. Having 90 speed means your recovery is going to be insane, especially if you watch my video about how you can animation cancel out of your LTRT whenever you're moving at a diagonal angle to immediately like shut down any drives, and how to guard 2 lanes at one time. I talk about all that. Go watch the video. You're going to like it. Having a 70 ball handler is all you need, and having a 70 ball handle on top of having a 98 3-pointer is going to make it to where you can really go crazy. And having a 45 speed with ball allows you to automatically just get access to the pro dribble style, which means you can do the little backwards to the left, backwards to the right RT, which means you're going to be able to create your shot with this. And not being able to create your shot with a 98 3-pointer is kind of a big L, because you have such a good 3-point rating. You need to be able to shoot and create your shot to make that actually deadly. This is a dominant second option. It may not look like it, but I promise you guys, go watch my meta hash like build, and I'll talk about that build specifically, because I want people to know that this completely breaks the game of how people are playing. Oh, just pick and roll is the best way. ISO is dead. This brings back ISO, because if you have 2 of these on a corner, 2 of these on a deep hash, they can hit that shot at the highest clip. Like, it's literally like as if you're right there on the 3-point line, and I showed that in that video. These shots are stupid easy. And you also have elite defense. So you also a 2BH, because the 70 ball handle may not seem like much, but it really is. I'll show you all the dribbles that you can get with the 70 ball handle that allow for you to really score at the highest level. So yeah, cool. That build is absolutely god tier. It's honestly the next build I'm going to make, without a doubt. This one is more defensive focus, with a little bit of sacrifice for the 3-point line. But if you're going to make a hash lock, you have to make a 96 3-pointer or above. In my opinion, you can't make a hash lock that doesn't have this, because everything else that you're going to get is really not going to be worth it once you understand how this game works defensively and interior defense, how it works, how blocking works, what attributes you need, whatever. So 55 driving dunk, 96, 99, 98, 95, all of this. Cool. Now since I've showed you all of these builds, let's go ahead and talk about it. So in this game, you need to have a build that can score whenever the ball is in their hands, a build that can sort of create their own shot and in some sort of way, if you get what I'm saying, or have enough effectiveness to where if they move this way or they move that way, they can create a shot from that, whether it's on ball or off ball. The ball's in their hands or if the ball's coming to them, they need to be able to create their shot, or it's not a good build. You need to have a build that is never cookies on defense, or it's at least able to slow down someone who has more badges than you on defense to where you can send help and then you can rotate over. All of these builds have that. All of these builds can score. All of these builds can be a second option. Every last single one of these builds can be a second option. Every last single one of these builds have good defense. Every last single one of these builds will score at least 20 points at a high clip if you know what you're doing. You cannot say you have the best builds in the game if they're not optimized. And now I'm going to show you why these builds are optimized. So 90 center dunk allows for you to do this precision dunk and cheese. If you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing. If you understand how, if you do that little animation where you dive in, you're going to automatically be able to go up in there and go crazy. 90 mid-range gives you access to all the gold and Hall of Fame badges that you need. 90 mid-range gives you open looks on Hall of Fame. That badge alone allows for you to really, really shoot crazy, especially when you have extremely good challenge reduction shots. It means that you're literally going to be goated. Like, it's over for them. Like, shoot in their face. If they have a center that's 7 foot who has no perimeter defense, again, if you make any center without at least 58 perimeter defense, your build's trash. You did not make a good. I'm sorry, if you do not have perimeter defense at least 58 on your build, you did not make a center, because we are shooting in your face. I don't care if you jump. I don't care. You better block the ball or it's going to be a straight green. That's how it works this year. You get access to T-Mac, which means, again, shooting in their face. It's insane. So you need to have that. 86 pass accuracy, because you need to have that if you're going to be playing anything. You need to be able to get those free buckets from Break Starter. Pass accuracy does not really change that much. It just gives you somewhat better animations. But if, again, people don't know where they're running to, or if they're running to these bad spots where it always is going to give you a bad animation, deep corner, for example, if they're running to deep corner on the fast break, it's always going to give you a bad pass animation. And I've tested this. Even when my passing, I show that. It's just the way that the game works. So 86 is all you need. Tell somebody run down the middle. Tell someone run to the beginning of the hash, and it's always going to be a straight dot. And the catch animation is always going to be good as well. So that's pretty much how that works. 82 interior, because that's where the sweet spot is. The only reason why you would go up for anything else would be for the 85. You never need more than 85. If you play good defense, you do not need more than 82 or 85. Never go above those thresholds ever as a center. Perimeter defense, 82 or 85 as well. For a center, you really don't need 85, because that's just for clamps, honestly. But if you wanted to pick dodger, I guess you could. If you're playing more like 2s, 3s, or whatever, then that could work. But in my opinion, I wouldn't go for that. 91 still, because again, if they pass the ball as a back end and you're deciding that, oh, let me switch one play, because they're throwing it down the middle like preemptively every single time. You can even make it to where like the big just constantly, or let's say you use another build, you can actually just go ahead and just stand right in front of the center that's, you know, rotating, or you can like play a little bit like lower, like always drop and trust your lock. One of the locks that I just showed you with the 94 perimeter defense would be pick dodger on gold, or the 98, which pick dodger will be on Hall of Fame. And you really don't even need Hall of Fame if you watch my video. All you need is gold, because you can actually completely ignore screens. I'll show you how to do that. If you're always just playing drop because you trust your top lock to guard the screens, he can't pass it to the center because that's the 91 steal. And if you watch my video on pass lane steals, it's automatic. This build completely shuts down all pick and roll. So everyone who's talking about, oh, pick and roll the best thing, bro, pick and roll it, pick and roll that. Yeah, no. You can't do anything. This build shuts all of that down. Because you can't pass it. And on top of having 90 immovable strength, which means if you don't get the steal, they're still gonna bring the pass like in a way to where it's gonna put you in a position to steal it, or they're gonna bump you while you're in there, and it's gonna give them this little like they fumble and try to pick the ball back up because of golden movement enforcer, which means they don't get a bucket from it anyway. This build shuts down pick and roll. This build shuts down picking everything because this build is so fast with the speed and also with the silver challenger to where it can run up to the PG and play aside and immediately run back faster than that and still try and get a block or still and try to get into the pass lane. That's how good this build is. And most centers cannot roll fast because they don't have enough speed. So if you're rocking one of them 7-foot centers, the pick and roll is completely killed with this build. It's completely killed. 87 block gives you everything you need. 93 defensive because that's all you need. I promise you guys, I made a build with 99 defensive. I made a build with 99 offensive. It's trash. It's not worth the attributes. It's not worth the points. You can get much elsewhere. Just play, know how the game works. Like, box out, get your back in the box out too, play the game, and only let your hashes leak. And then from there, you can go crazy. And if, let's say, they're trying to rip you the moment that, you get the board, swing it to your back and it's going to be right there next to you. Like, it's very, very simple stuff. But all you need is a 93. I promise you guys, I've seen people make a 6-8 with a 99 defensive. You don't need that, bro. Like, you don't need that. 90 strength, you have to have 80 vertical, though. If you don't have 80 vertical, you're going to be cookies, honestly. 80 vertical allows for you to jump higher, but it also really does allow for you to get those chase downs because, again, that's what the whole point of this build is for. This build is elite everywhere. It has no weaknesses. And 51 ball handle means, again, you get access to the pro. You get access to all the things that you need to score offensively. So this 82 ball handle that you see me I said 82. This 82 3-point shot and this 90 mid-range, you can actually use all of this. So again, if you're going against a center who has no perimeter defense, he's straight cookies. If you have the Kobe Bryant you play this as a back end or you play this as a center, they can't guard you. They literally can't guard you. It's a bucket every time. They're going to have to send someone else over, which means you're just automatically always in a defensive breakdown, which is the reason why I say these are the best builds. They automatically force defensive breakdowns. Moving on. This build is not really pro-am like extremely comp, but it's a do everything build. As you can see, you can go crazy with that. You can go crazy with this. You can go crazy with this. The thresholds for pass accuracy is 73, 75, and 77. You never want to go above that unless you're going for 89 pass accuracy. That's it. You don't want to do it for anything else. Everything else would be an absolute waste. If you're not moving for, again, 73, 75, or 77, there's no need to go over that unless you can reach 89. 87 is trash. 84 is trash. You have to go for 89, or it's not worth it. Just stick with the 77. 75 speed ball, you have to have at least this, or you really can't like move anywhere. Anyways, moving forward, 75 because you get clamps, you get challenger, you get pick dodger, and mainly off-ball pass. This is an elite corner lock, by the way. This is not supposed to be a hash lock. This is supposed to be a corner lock. This build is going to be dominant at guarding your corner because they can't pass it to your corner with the 91 steal, and you also have off-ball pass on silver. They literally can't do anything. You have 55 interior. That is the sweet spot. Never, listen to me, never make a build without at least 55 interior and 55 block. If you do, your build going to be trash. I'm sorry. You will not be able to play no defense. You will not be able to play cheesy defense. When you have 55 interior, the game allows for you to literally on the fast break or even on big players, centers, no matter who they are. You can, I don't care how tall you can be 6'1". It's an animation-based game. At 55, you unlock the animation, which means I don't care what their offensive stats are. You got the animation. It gives you the reward of the animation. They can't make the shot. 55 gives you access to the best animations at the lowest possible attribute that you need to reach in order to unlock the animation. Same thing with block. Now, 60 block is where you get the best reward. But 55 is where you really get like it's like if you don't want to go for 60, you have to go for 55. And again, a meta build, a pro-am build is basically you using the least amount of points to get the most out of your build and trusting your skill to shine here. Now, these builds, the way that 2K works now, because defense is so good, you need to have a little bit more this year than you did before in order to still be able to compete at the highest level offensively and still have elite defense. And that's the reason why we are going for higher, offensive stats, because you need to be able to shoot contesteds. They're going to get a few here and there. Having a 92 with a 6'6" and using T-Mac, you're going to be able to shoot contesteds easily, which is the whole point of the build. You're going to be able to make reds, you're going to be able to make oranges or yellows, whatever you want to call it. And a lot of stuff is just going to stay open if you have shot IQ. This build is absolutely good, but it's not as friendly unless you're playing corner lock. Anyways, 90 driving dunk, so again you can play standing dunk, so you can play pick and roll. 85, so that way you can shoot deep. Again, bronze limitless range is the best badge in the game for offense. I would never make a center without at least 85 3-point shot. I learned my lesson. I made a build with a 76 and I was like, bro, the pick and fade with this is trash, because sometimes the ball, whenever the PG is throwing it, will just go simply much further out and you just can't shoot that shot. I mean, you could try, but it's not going to be a high percentage clip, because again, your 3-point rating isn't high enough and you don't have the limitless range bat to work with you there. So it's actually RNG to make that shot. Even if you time it at the best possible, your make percentage at the center green window is just not going to be high enough to make that shot every single time. That's just the way that the game works. Now, again, 85 3-pointer. This allows for you to, again, take multiple steps back. And if you get take, it's even crazy. You can shoot at the logo with this build. Having a center that is 7 foot, that is tall as heck with a Kevin Durant base or the Chris Bosh base, means you are shooting over those. You're shooting in people's faces. It makes it to where you're scary now. And having a center that can shoot means, okay, my PG can now slash. My PG now has access to the mid-range game. My PG now has access to the float game. My PG now has room to, do precision dunker. My PG now can actually get easy backdoors because someone's going to have to step up, or the PG is going to score all the points. Or they're going to help, and then you can throw it to the corner, or you can throw it to the right hash or the left hash, depending on where they're doing that little 3-man rotation at. Having a center that can shoot is a must-have. This allows for you to also play ISO. If you do not have a center that can shoot, your team's not going to be able to be as good. I'm sorry. Like, I watched Joe Nose go against that team, and their big couldn't shoot. And I'm like, bro, the big cost them the game. I don't care how good the PG was. I don't care how good that little best player who was running his mouth was. They were in a losing matchup because their center could only drive to the paint. It's so easy to play that. Certain defenses are specifically made to stop the pick and roll. Like my back end that I made and my center here, it's shutting all of that down. You can't score off of just having a big that can do pick and roll. You need to be able to shoot the ball. This is not a year where you can do that. And even though, scoring inside is very, very easy, very, very cheap, it's 2 points. Having a center that can shoot means that you break the team down, because now you can start doing stuff where you set the screen and you let the PG drive, and then you drive after him, and then you're making the person who was playing drop, or the person who was playing up top, basically who sit, he's now like, oh shoot, now because the center the PG can either go straight to the basket, or he can try to go for a mid-range, shot, like slightly to the left or whatever, and then that opens up both of them having to worry about him, because he's going to get the open shot. Again, if you have the right, dribble pull-ups on like Kobe Bryant, you can even have Pro 2 on. You can even try DeMar DeRozan. And once KD gets, released, that's going to be the best one in the game. The challenge reduction is crazy. That means that now you have people worrying about the PG. He's attracting so much attention from the mid-range, the floater, the actual precision dunker slashing if they're not in position, which means someone actually, this is why precision dunker is so important. Someone has to be between him and out of the restricted, him in the basket, in order for his precision dunker not to give him a big bar, and it's an automatic dunk, which means positioning wise, someone has to be sitting in the paint. They have to be, which means that opens up the mid range, that opens up help from the corner or the hash, that opens up even the defender that's playing the other side on the screen, worrying about him, because that mid range shot is always going to be there. That dribble, that precision dunk is always going to be there, which means someone has to drop. And if someone has to drop, that means the center now can basically play a two-step or a dex with the person that's trying to guard the top of the key, because the point guard is basically rolling instead of him, like trying to hunt for a 3-point shot. And if you have a PG that can do both, now you're looking at, you don't know if I'm going to try to go for the 3, or I'm going to try to go for a slash, or I'm going to try to go for a mid-range. It becomes a 3-way threat just from the PG skill, on top of having a center that has a 3-way skill, which means he can actually just go ahead and stop at the mid-range right there by himself. If the center's playing too low because he's trying to stop the precision dunker, and you slip, but you don't slip hard, you just slip and you stop right at the free throw line, and the PG just stays right there, guess what? The center has to push up. If he doesn't, that's an easy mid-range. You have a 90 mid-range with this build. And then the center himself, because he has 86 pass average, you can just pass it to the corner. Or you can pass it to the other corner. Or you can pass it to the other hash. Someone's going to have to get, or it's going to be a straight-up bucket every single time you're too tall, right? So not only that, you can also make it to where the center basically lets the PG, he sets the screen, PG goes in and drives. The center does a two-step, and then he fades back to the three-point line. That's an easy strap. Now you have to have someone from the hash guarding that, because the person that's in the paint has to respect the PG, because the PG is going to get the mid-range or the floater. And then now the person that was guarding the top has to worry about, the big you also driving in, because the center has to move over. And if the center doesn't move over, then it's either going to be a lot for you, or it's going to be an easy bucket for the PG. Or it's just going to be a straight up pass and you can just precision dunker yourself. So now you have a 1-2 threat, or like a 1-2 cut kind of going on, which is what people run against centers who are running, 2-3, and you have no back ends or no corner locks. So you can really, stop people from just cutting from their side because they're playing too often. You're supposed to play closer. Now you're looking at a 4-5 threat, which means you have 5 ways to attack 3 people on a team that is always in your favor. Having a center that can shoot means you can then now go ahead and basically force a defensive breakdown better than it would be if you're just doing pick and roll, because a pick and roll only gives you 2 points. A pick and fade will always give you 3 points, because again, if this point guard passes it back to the center after he did a 2-step, he's either going to have that open shot, or the right hash or the left hash, depending on where you guys started the screen, is going to have to rotate over in order to stop you from shooting. And again, you can just shoot over those, because we have Deadeye on goal, Catch and Shoot on goal, Claymore on goal, Green Machine on goal, Guard Up on goal, Hall of Fame open looks. You can shoot over those with the Kevin Durant base or the Chris Bosh base, which means they have to rotate even earlier, forcing a stronger breakdown or forcing a stronger collapse, which means then you just pass it to the other hash from the other side, or you pass it to the other hash from the other side, or you can pass it to the corner, depending on how the rotations are. This is where you're breaking your team down to where you're always going to get a 3 open instead of just a 2, which means numbers-wise, you can afford to have a lot more turnovers. Numbers-wise, you can afford to, whatever. And if you have this on top of having a good defensive team, you just win the game automatically. It works in your favor. It's a numbers game at that point, right? Just hit your shots. So having a center that can't shoot is absolutely trash. You have to have a center that can shoot, or you're literally not doing nothing for your team. Anyways, moving forward, you have to have this. You have to have an 82 interior, 58 perimeter, because again, if you do not have that on the center, I promise you, you did not make no program center. You did not make no comp center. If you ain't got no perimeter defense and you just sitting in the paint, nah, that's wreck stuff, bro. You ain't doing nothing. Same thing here with the steal. If you don't got a center that at least has 60 steal, you ain't made no program center, bro. At least. This is the lowest that you can go, because if you watch my pass lane steals, this will work with a 60. This will work with anything, honestly. You just have to know how to be in the lane. It won't give it to you every time because it becomes an RNG thing at that point, but just having the badge and having the steal rating itself allows for you to basically give the PG something to worry about. Dang, is he going to get this steal this time? Let me not throw that. And that's the whole point, is to play the mind game. Do you want to throw that bad pass, or do you want to go ahead and, whatever? Even if you're playing corner, you need to be able to get some sort of, steal with that. Or you're going to kind of, be somewhat cookies. Anyways, moving up forward, block. 87, you got to have it. Offensive rebound, I wish I could have got it to 80 or 85, but yeah, you have to sacrifice something. So it's there. 93, that's all you need. 90 strength, you have to have it. 80 vertical, you have to have it, because again, you have a smaller wingspan. So also not having a 99 defensive rebound. This is the best, again, the most efficient way to get boards without diminishing returns. Going for 99, it's too expensive. Having 80 vertical on top of having 99 is going to be more than enough to where you can get every single board. I average 18 boards a game, and I play with a back end. So, yeah, you're going to be good. And I had a build with 99 O board and also another build with 99 defensive, and I was averaging 20 boards. It won't make a difference. And that was whenever I wasn't playing with a back end. So, again, it doesn't matter. If you know how to play the defense, if you know how to use Box Out Beast Hall of Fame, you're going to be getting all the boards you need anyway. Just position yourself. Anyways, moving forward. I know I spent a lot of time on that, but I was honestly I honestly hate going against teams who don't have a shooting center, because it just becomes too easy. It's like a cakewalk, honestly. Anyways, and the only reason why pick and roll works is because a lot of defenders who are playing on-ball defense or who are playing pick and roll defense and they're trying to, stop the PG don't know how to do it. They literally don't know how to do it. Go watch my videos, and I promise you guys, pick and roll will be dead, and ISO will be the only way to play this year, which is the reason why ISO ball has been winning all the tournaments. Well, Joe knows basically, but even Joe knows the way that they're running the ISO, it's good, but like it could be much better. Anyways, moving forward. This build is trash, but if you needed the 99 skill pad offensive rebound, then go for it. But I just don't think this build is good. You give up too much. As you can see, you don't get elite shooting. You get good, pick and roll. You get good passing. You got good defense, but you get good like O boards. But my thing is, bro, why would you ever get O board? Let's go ahead and be idealistic here. Who plays with PGs that really miss at the highest level, or even just whatever? This is more like rec stuff. Like I'm just being honest. This is more rec stuff. What's the point of a 99 O board? Most people who are at the highest level are not going to miss their shots unless they made bad builds. So again, as the year goes on, people are going to make better builds. They're going to realize how the game works. They're going to be able to learn how to hit their contested shots or whatever. They're going to get the access to the Patty Mills, the Chris Bosh, or the T-Mac base, which is just going to completely make it to where they can just shoot everything. You're not going to get that many offensive rebounds because also offensive rebounds are not supposed to happen in this game. It's scripted towards defense. Like if your team misses a shot, the ball is it's scripted to go to it's gonna give the defensive player, the defensive rebound, a much better advantage unless you're completely beating them positioning wise. So it's never gonna work in your favor anyway, which means you would have to be a complete dog in order to do that. I would much say go for the 99 defensive and then just play good defense with the box out beast on Hall of Fame and the rebound chaser on Hall of Fame, with your offensive rebound being whatever. But for the people who want that, because some people swear on God that this is good, and I had this build. I deleted it because it was trash. Like I'm not about to be out here not being able to take like 3 steps back from the 3-point line as a center, being able to shoot deep, contested shots, and also have a 90 board just so that way I can have a 99 offensive rebound. It's not worth it. You're basically basing your whole build off of the fact that your team is missing, and that's trash. And again, the higher you get in param, the higher you get skill level wise, the less your team is going to miss, which means you completely negate that build. So like I would never make a build based like that. So let's just go ahead and do that. I didn't want to show it to y'all for the sake of that, but that build is trash. I'm sorry. Let's start talking about the point guards. So point guard wise, you have 94 driving dunk, elite. I should say no more. 92 three-pointer, elite. Say no more. You have to go for 78, not 77. This is where you get a boost to your mid-range shots, a huge boost, green window-wise. You have to have this. 89 pass, Tyrese Halliburton. That's the only reason why you would go for that. Never go higher unless you literally could put your points nowhere else. 92 ball handle, have to have it. 83 speed ball, have to have it. 55 interior, again. You cannot play elite defense if you do not have this. This allows for you to get stops on the fast break, stops whenever you're trying to guard your cuts or whatever it may be. This allows for you to get the best animations in the game whenever it comes to playing LT hands up defense. This is where all the animations unlock. You have to have at least 55. You cannot go lower than this. You cannot go lower than this. 58 perimeter is the lowest you can go. 68 perimeter allows for you to be an elite corner like defender. No, you're not going to be cookies on your corner. You can actually play corner defense really well with this build. You can also play good defense whenever it comes to like people like trying to cut and whatever. Having a 68 block really does help you out with that. But also when it comes to playing elite perimeter defense, if you're getting decks or whatever, this allows for you to get better jump contests as well. On top of having an 82 vertical, this build is elite, great on defense. I'm not going to say elite. The only thing this build can't do is steal. But it's great defensively. It has no weaknesses defensively. It has no weaknesses offensively. It can pass elite. It can dribble elite. It can shoot elite. It can definitely slash elite. And its defense is very, very great. On top of it being a fast build. Yeah, this build is honestly the easiest build for someone to hop into param with and find immediate success, because you can break a lot of teams down with this. For example, if you use this build with this center, you're looking at a 1-2 punch that is so deadly. This build and that build alone are probably, if you have this, you can win a team off of that, and everyone else just has defense. Offensively, if you just have these two, that's all you need offensively, and you can win a game with that. Because this build is going to definitely drop at least 30. This build is definitely going to drop at least 25. So these two builds alone, God tier. Now, if you're looking for a more smaller guard, if you're looking for the Patty Mills, if you're also just looking to have a higher 3-point shot, you can go 6'2", so you can hit more contestants. Again, you need to have some sort of contact, not because precision dunker is good. You have to have that because you need to force a center to sit in the paint. If you can't do that, it's a little bit worse for you. You have to kind of abuse layups, and you have to have a lot of knowledge about how the layups work in this game in order to run without having position dunker. Uh, 89 is not really, again, that much of a difference from 89 driving dunk and 78 vertical. Having 87 and 75 is actually really, really good. I actually have this build, and it's been dominant. Like, especially in park, bro. This build on park is actually like a beast. Defensively, you're a beast. Offensively, you're a beast. Literally, people can't stop this build in park. In a twos, this is the best build in twos to make as a small guard. You have great defense. You have literally, I promise you guys, if you take this build and you put it in park, this build is going to dominate. But in rec, it's really, really good. In Prem, it's extremely dominant. Again, you have to have at least 73. That's the lowest that you can go. If you're being a point guard, you need to have that. You can go for 75 or 77. If you're not going to go for any of those, the only way to go up, it will be 89 for the Tyrese Halliburton. Other than that, stick with 73 or 77 or 75. You never go over that. Point handle 92. 90, you have to have, again, you have to have 55. You have to have 58. You have to have 55. Speed booster on gold. Blow by on silver. You have to have that 40 strength. That does allow for you to, again, if people have 94 feet, Hall of Fame or gold, it allows for you to fight so that way you can still move the ball up the court. But again, you kind of want to just beat them with, the Kobe Bryant cross or the John Wall cross. So that way you completely nullify that badge. And honestly, how fast point guards are with blowouts and stuff like that, and even just like actually using that to like bait people, literally means that, like, bro, if anyone's actually playing you 94 feet, they're literally just causing defensive breakdowns for their own team. I've never had a problem dealing with that. So that's not really something that would even really be good, but having strength also allows for you to fight, so that way you can actually, like, if you do get a lane, you can kind of keep fighting that contact, so that way you can keep your line of sight, so you can position dunker out of that and dunk on people. At 6'2", I have been dunking on centers with gold anchor, and that goes to show you the only way you stop position dunker is, again, if you're in the way of the lane, or if your anchor badge takes them out of the dunk animation, which rarely ever happens. Like, when I say rare, I mean rarely ever happens, even with an 87, or they block the shot. But because you have access to one of the best dunk packages, they never can block your shot. It's always going to give you these very free, quick, like, things. And because you have so little dunk packages that are actually really, really good, you know exactly what dunk you're going to get and at what animation you're going to get at certain angles. The more you play with your build. So this build is absolutely dominant. There's no weakness to this build. Moving forward, let's go ahead and show another one. This is another PG build. I think is very, very dominant. This is more of a, if you want to have more emphasis on actually, breaking the defender down, ISOing, or just like actually shooting like crazy and having elite passing for whatever it may be. But still being able to drive, because again, a build that can't drive to the paint, again, you kind of ruin the whole point of having a center that can, fade. This build works really well with a center that can only shoot. So again, if you're playing with a team where the center can't shoot, I would make this build instead, because you're going to need to have 90. Again, pick and roll is so trash. I don't know why people are like, pick and roll is the best way to play. ISO is bro, pick and roll is so trash once you know how to actually guard this stuff. You lose the game by running that stuff. I'm not gonna lie, bro. It's crazy. Like, people are so stubborn. People are so simple-minded in the 2K community. Anyways, if you're gonna be playing pick and roll with a center that can only slash, you need to have at least a 91 pass accuracy. I'm sorry, that stuff is so trash. If you're going against a lock or a center that has 91 steals, so a smaller center, you can't pass the ball right there. It's just completely, you're not gonna be able to do it. Which is the reason why I did not go for the 90 any drive and dunk on this build, because there's literally no reason to. The center is either going to take it away to where you get no bar for your precision dunker, or he's going to steal the pass. There's nothing that you can do in there. So you're going to need to have an extremely irrelevant, amount of badges in order to at least try and sneak that in there. And if you watch my video on how pass line steals works, you're going to know that even with this, it still isn't like going to stop someone from playing good defense against that. But at least you'd be able to break your actual on-ball defender down enough to where if he guesses wrong, or if you do some sort of move or whatever, you're going to have enough stamina to kind of go crazy. But also, you're going to have that 98 3-pointer, so that way you can really, really shoot like crazy. So you're really trying to push everyone up and trying to, again, this build only works if they have an on-ball lock who's not able to keep up with you, who's a bad lock, who doesn't know how to play comp defense, who doesn't know how to do on-ball steals. then this build works really, really well because he just doesn't know. And then it forces the center to try to play sides with you, and then you're just cooking everybody at that point. But again, as you learn how to make builds better, the real meta builds, this is not going to work. But this build will always find success because you have elite dribbling with the 93 that gives you ankle breaker on Hall of Fame. That's actually extremely good. With a 98 and a 91, you're going to have all the offense and passing you need in order to play good defense. And having the 87 gives you access to the Devin Booker. It gives you access to the LeBron James, one of the best, like upwards to the left, upwards to the right layups in the game. It just completely ignores contests from anybody, no matter how small or how tall you are. It just ignores it. And then also the Anthony Edwards, which is the fastest layups in the game. His animations are just so fast. It just speeds you to the rim. So again, let's say if they're playing sides and they don't expect you to shoot and you drive, you can do a floater. You can go ahead and run in there and try and get an Anthony Edwards scoop, which is going to be so fast that it literally can't block it. And the ball is also, it hits the backboard so fast. So you're going to be a goaltend, or like, it is going to be straight up cookies. I'm not even going to lie. This build, if you know how to use your skill, there's nothing that this build can't do. This build can score in the paint elite. You can even play 5 out, so that way you force a breakdown or whatever. You can play ISO ball with this build as well. So yeah, elite, great defense. Not gonna say elite. You have great defense. You can guard your corner. You have to glue your corner though. You can't like sag off at all. You have to glue your corner because you're 6'2" and you only have a 58. But this allows for you to get good contests. Again, you can jump. You can get your stops. You're not going to be a liability on defense, but if they're trying to attack you, you have to play elite defense with what I talk about in my video, or you're going to be cookies. If you don't know how to play elite defense, then honestly, yeah, you might be in trouble. But having a 55 block on top of the 55 interior, you can really do your damage and get a lot of stops, which is what you're looking for in a competitive game, the ability to stop something. They might win it here and there, or they might win it, 3 out of 1 situations, but as long as you stop them once, again, if you're shooting your threes and your team is getting stops, you're going to be able to make adjustments. Now, that's pretty much how that works. So those are those builds. I'm going to go over one more back in here. This build it can be an on-ball lock. It can be a, scoring option. I have this build, but I actually went 90 drive and dunk and 92 post control, and I took away a lot of this rebounding in order to get that. So that way I'm more of an offensive build, because me personally, I don't want to make a back end. That's never been my play style. I'm not trying to sit in the corner and watch stuff. Like, I'm trying to either play on ball, I'm trying to be the point. I need to be active. You know what I mean? Constantly making reads, constantly, shutting things down, because no one knows how to play pick and roll defense the right way. So I want to be on ball. This build allows for you to be one of the better on balls. And again, if you know how to play pick and roll defense, you really don't need to go for 94. But you can go for 93 if you wanted to, but you'd have to lose some defensive rebounding as well. But with a build as tall as this is, and a build with wingspan as long as it is, and vertical as long as it is, you really don't need to go for 93 or 94. Well, you can't go for 94 with this. You don't need that. You can really, really go ahead and cook with 87. And this is what I'm using. This is my favorite build. No one's ever scored on me on this build. I said never scored, but maybe like 2. Let's say like maybe 5 times. I'm really hard to score on with this build because I have a high vertical, I have a high perimeter, I have a high steal, high block. You really can't score on this build, unless you if you have elite defense, you can't score on this build. They can't score against you, should I say. But if you don't have elite defense and you're playing against a very fast, small guard, they can probably cook you if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know how to do bounces and stuff like that. Anyways, moving forward, that's a good back end for you. Do I think it's better than this one? No, but it's still good. Anyways, moving on. These are the 2 best ones, and I saved them for last because this actually completely makes everything that I'm saying fall into line. Having a 3-and-D wing that can shoot the ball at the highest level is insane because it brings back ISO ball. Having a 98 3-pointer on a 6'5" guard means not only do you have a build that's not a small guard, able to actually go ahead and get a 98 3-pointer, meaning you have access now to T-Mac, which is the best challenge reduction in the game, outside of like Patty Mills and stuff like that. This means you are taller and you have a 98 3-pointer. You being taller means, again, challenge reduction wise, you're insane. the 65 standing dunk, you can drive up in there, do spot finder, do cuts from all the way deep hash. And your goal with this build is to sit deep hash, because that's an actual easy bucket. That's like you're sitting directly at the 3-point line. A 98 3-pointer at deep hash is a straight up like a regular jumper, because of all the badges that you have and because of your 3-point rating being that high. The catch and shoot, Hall of Fame, the Green Machine, Claymore, Agent 3s, all of these badges can proc at the same time on a shot. Open looks and Hall of Fame, all these badges can proc at the same time with a limitless range 3 from way out there, meaning you'll be able to hit this at a very, very high clip. A very, very high clip. It's literally a guaranteed shot if you know your timing. And since you're going to be using T-Mac, you mix that in with maybe Tari Eason if you want something quicker, then your challenge reduction is going to be even greater. So you're shooting over those, and you're shooting so fast to where literally the defender cannot pinch the point guard. Both of the HashLocks cannot pinch, which means that now they have to run 3-2 because your point guard can shoot, and you have 2 of these. So again, like I said, you need to either have 2 of these or 1 of each. I would say 1 of each would probably be better. I'll tell you why in a bit. So you have at least 2 of these. They're both going to be able to shoot from the hash, deep hash, right? Having that on top of having a very, very quick jumper, because the 3-pointer is going to be 98, which means you get very quick releases, not just quick releases, which means it's going to be even faster, which means you really can't contest these people. You're going to have to glue them, or it's going to be a straight up 3-point shot. And people are literally going to be like, eventually like, man, he can't shoot that deep. I'm living with that. And then you're going to hit him every single time, and then they're like, dang, he's really hitting that. And that will completely break all the defense that is constantly being played in this game. I have actively been watching the Pro-Am play and all that. This build will break all of that. These teams will literally be like, if you bring 2 of these into a rack with a point guard that can, has at least, a 92 3-pointer and a 94 driving dunk, those 3 alone is absolutely shutting a whole team down. Defensively, they wouldn't even know what to do because everyone's running the same defenses. This would bring back ISO ball because not only do you have a 98 3-pointer, you have elite defense as well. Now, this is also a 2BAs because you honestly need to have that. This allows for you to create your own shot because any build with a 98 3-pointer and you can't create your shot is honestly a missed opportunity. You have to be able to create your own shot, and go watch my meta HashLock build where I talk more about how to do that. I don't want to go over that in this one. But being able to do spot finder cuts, if you know how to do that, going straight to the paint, it'll zoom you to the paint. You can go straight for a standing dunk from that. Even if you're in the corner, you can do it from the corner as well. But it's very good if you're doing it from deep pass because it's so fast, which means you're going to force someone to have to sag off of you because you do it enough. Or they're going to just let you get it, and then they're going to trust the corner to basically drop, and then the corner gets an open shot. Or the PG is going to get a shot who's standing at the top of the key because they're probably going to rotate over. Anyways, alone dominate. And again, you are able to create your shot. You're able to dribble, so you're able to use the pro dribble style. So that means you can do the move and create a mid-range shot, which means that forces, again, the hashes to be honest. The HashLocks to be honest. If they're trying to guard you, they can't sag off. And if they sag off too much and they jump immediately at you because you've been hitting all these shots and it's not giving them a contest, it allows for you to simply just drive, boop, and then shoot either a closer 3-point shot or if you know how to do the little backwards to the left quick stop, or just simply like doing a simple RT up in order to do a quick stop, or just simply actually running deeper in for the mid range. But I will go for the 3-pointer because they're going to have to guard you way out there. A 98 3-pointer is insane. 99 free throw, you're always a guaranteed bucket. You don't need 2 of these on the team, but if one of your team members have a 99, then the other one should have like maybe an 80. But you need to have at least one person on your team that has a 99, so that way any mistake they make on defense is automatically going to be paid with an automatic bucket that is never going to miss, because 99 free throw is a cheese. 60 pass accuracy, because that's all you need, honestly. The passes that you make from this build will only be passes that are going to go either to the corner, the other corner, or the top of the key, or the right hash. All of these passes from the type of move that you're going to be using are going to be straight dots anyway, and because of how you're supposed to play this, they're going to either be overly committed to you. Again, I don't need to go over all that. Make the IQ pass. Again, I have a build with a 39 pass accuracy, and I'm able to throw absolute dots, and I average 8 assists with a 39 pass accuracy. If you got the skill, if you know how to make IQ pass, if you know how to pass fake, again, watch my video on pass lanes, you're going to be dominant anyway. 94 perimeter, 91 steal, That's all you need. I promise you guys, anything more than that with a 90 strength is just a waste of points. It's diminishing returns. Um, there's only one reason why I will go over 94, and it's really not even that good. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But for the people who want to, I would say make 2 of these because that will allow for you to really be able to create. Your whole team can now create their own shot. In my opinion, I would go with 2 of these. But if you wanted something more, defensive, then you can kind of go with that. But all you need is 94 perimeter. If you watch my video about how to play pick and roll defense, you shut it completely down with a 94, 91 steal, and 90 strength. Having 77 excel with fast feet on goal gives you the best defense in the game. 90 speed on top of that means your recovery is insane. If you make the wrong guess, whatever, and again, I'll talk about how the animation counts, so go watch it. Anyway, 60 vertical helps you to play good defense. Again, you have a 63 block, so you get the 60 block, which means you get good animations. And you have 76 interior, so you can really, really play good inside if you're having to, do some rotation or you're making adjustments defensively. You don't want your HashLocks to only be able to guard the hash. You need to be able to have them, switch around and still, get stops, or if they make a read, they need to be able to, get a stop here and there. So, yeah. This one is more defensive focused, but we'll talk about it. Again, you have to have at least a 55 driving dunk on this one because this gives you access to the Klay Thompson dunk. Your build has to be able to do something in the paint, like something, if it can't do something in the paint, then you can't force a defensive breakdown. You know what I mean? They'll just be able to recover or use their block rating or whatever to kind of stop you. Klay Thompson allows for you to be able to, do enough in there to where you can get yours. Especially if you get a steal and you're trying to run down a fast break and do a blowout. 96 because Gold Limitless is actually really, really good. Gold Limitless is got a huge buff since the patch a while back, and it's still been the exact same. No one has a 96 3-point build anymore, and I honestly do believe that's why people aren't kind of going crazy. You can actually make a PG with a 96 3-point shot that is actually very, very dominant. And it can find a lot of success. Me personally, I will always go for the 98, but you can make one with that 99 free throw because, again, if you don't have one on the other build, definitely want to have one of them with it. 69 because, again, that's all you really need. 75 because, again, you have to be able to, make some switches and stuff like that. If you're trying to be a hash lock, you need to be able to also guard the corner, stuff like that. And this build also comes with 60 block and also 60 defensive rebound, so it can kind of play back-endish if you're out of position or whatever. But the 98 perimeter defense is only for the pick dodger on Hall of Fame. Now, pick dodger on Hall of Fame isn't even good. I've tested it. It doesn't give you better animations, and the stuff that I use in order to stop the pick and roll offense, this doesn't do anything for it anyway. But having pick dodger on Hall of Fame against someone maybe who has bronze, or silver brick wall, it's going to be good. But against gold brick wall, really doesn't give you that much of a boost. It's it really isn't that big of a deal. For how much points you have to put into this and how much you lose, this build is not that good. But the only reason why I would make this build, if you are really wanting to make it to where you're going to trust this build to guard the pick and roll up top and go over every single time, because that's how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to take away the side that the screen is being set on and always go over. You never go under, always go over. Because it also eliminates the fade if you know how to play elite defense. So this is why I say iso ball is the best way to play in this game, honestly, because this build completely shuts down the pick and roll by itself. You can't shoot anything off of this. Having the 95 means that you can also go under and just immediately try to if he's panicking because you've been clamping him up, you can just go for the interceptor. But you can also, so if you're playing with the center, the 7-foot center that I'm talking about, you can actually play his spot. So you can just sit in there, and then you can just sag down just a little bit if you're making that read basically. But yeah, having a 98 perimeter defense means you have elite clamps. On top of 90 strength, you have elite clamps. They're not going anywhere. They literally are not going anywhere. The 95 is only for the interceptor on Hall of Fame. I would never go over 95. I don't think that this is worth it. I think this is a skill pattern. I think I will go for 91. But if you wanted the 95, go ahead and go for it. But in my opinion, I just don't think that that's really worth it. But if you wanted the interceptor on Hall of Fame, it's going to be very good, again, to where you are the best defensive build with the highest, ratings that you can get without getting diminishing returns, even though you're already in sort of diminishing returns because you can't get, the super crazy strap of 98, which actually makes a huge difference green window wise whenever you're timing your stuff slightly late. Compared to a 98 and a 96, but 96 you can still green very, very high at a very high clip, deep hash. So yeah, this build is dominant defensively, but you're going to have 86 speed, so you're going to have to use your fast feet in order to keep up with smaller guards using their speed booster Hall of Fame or speed booster on gold. If it's on Hall of Fame, you can still keep up using your fast feet on gold. If their speed booster is on gold, you're clamping everything up anyway. 90 strength means they can't move anywhere anyway. 56 vertical is kind of comes with it. 99 stamina, so that way you can have 94 feet and work hard on Hall of Fame if you try to go for a steal or something like that. So you can have this build as your on ball. So if they're playing pick and roll, you put this guy on the point guard, and you're basically like, I'm going to stand in front of everything. The center is going to have to set the screen so close that it literally will not be able to bother anyone unless you set the screen so close, because you having 90 strength on top of being able to set being able to be so close to him, if the center doesn't set the screens high up enough to where, like, how can I make it make sense? If the center doesn't set a screen high up enough to where you can actually even bump me, then you're kind of screwed. But again, the whole point of that is you play so close up because they can't drive, because you have all these badges on Hall of Fame. And having where is it at? There's one badge I'm looking for. It's fast feet. This one is actually really, really good. There's another one I'm looking for. A movement enforcer. Yeah. Having fast feet on gold and movement enforcer on gold on top of 90 strength, if people are trying to speed boost and you're like up close, they don't get the animations where they're allowed to just like get out of like the contact, forcing them to either do a hesitation escape. That's why escape moves are in the game. They allow for you to escape contact. That's why people love the John Wall, escape behind the back, because it allows for you to escape contact after there's a break in the animation, pretty much, right? That's why people L2 cancel out of contact as well. Whenever they do that, you immediately go for the steal, and it's an automatic pluck every single time. So this is literally how you shut down the pick and roll. And this build does it better than anyone else, because you have the 98 perimeter, which means they're not going anywhere. You have clamps on Hall of Gold. You have all these other badges on Hall of Fame, and fast feet on gold, which means you actually genuinely shut people down so bad to where they literally can't move. And if they're setting the screen on the left side, then you shade to the left side, and then he bumps into you. And if he gets that bump, he's going to get stonewalled, and then you can go for a steal. That's an automatic gold glove pluck every single time. Meaning the point guard will literally like get no reward for doing the pick and roll. And he's literally just going to be sitting there hoping and praying and holding LT that the big just slips early. And then again, you're playing with a center who can, basically get steals, whether it's 60 or the other center with the 91, and he can't pass the ball anywhere. You shut all of it down. This is the build that can completely shut down the pick and roll by itself. Just play over and everything, and stop the point guard from running into the screen or being able to even move me into the screen. I cover all of this on my defensive guide. Go watch it. And then they can't move. They can't do anything. So you can have one of these builds guarding basically on ball, guarding the pick and roll, and guarding any slashing build as well, because they can't get by you as a slasher. They can't do anything. No build can get by you. Your perimeter defense is the best in the game. There's no need to go for 99, by the way. 99 is trash. It's not worth the attributes. So yeah, this is your first hash lock. This is your one that rotates up top, and then you can have another hash lock that's basically guarding left side if you're playing 3-2 basically, and then you can have that back end that I talked about with the 82 perimeter, basically doing the exact same thing, because it also has, I'll go ahead and show it here. You can either have him as your top right, because he has the 87 perimeter, which is the reason why I made this build, because in a 3-2 it works better. Having that 87 means you have clamps on silver on top of having 90 strength and all this stuff. So you really, again, they can't score on you. They can't go anywhere. So that's why I made this one over making this one. Just because I wanted to be elite at guarding the hash and also guarding inside as well. This build has the 82, so it is good in that regard, but you don't have the clamps on silver, which means you get less animation whenever the clamps badge will work, which means you have to have better fast feet, but you still get the 90 strength from the movement enforcer. So you're still going to clamp up anyway, but against a good scorer who's faced this enough, they might a little few little tricks of the trade in order to try to get you cooked up. But either one of these can be your top right or whatever. And now you have 91 still on every side of the court in your 2-3 basically, meaning now you literally like the PG can't do anything. If you're playing 3-2, the PG can't do anything. So yeah, it's honestly really really good. And then you have that back end, or you have that other build where you're doing your thing, or you can even just go ahead and put the you can even put the PG here at the top right as well if you're wanting to. He'll be good. He'll be able to guard his hash if he plays close up. This actually works in the favor. Playing up really up close, you just lose the pinch and just trust your on ball defender to guard on ball and shut that stuff down. And then now they really can't swing it to your hash because you have silver off ball pass, which means if you actually get up close where your hands are on them, they can't like just cut to the paint. Like they have to fight through the contact first. So that's really good in your favor, and that gives enough time for your corner basically backing or your center to really read that the hash is trying to cut. Again, you just stick it. You glue up close and then you let them try to do whatever. You never get decks by doing this as well. And if they drive, then you just go ahead and stay there. And let's say, for example, the PG's like, okay, well, my hash is cutting, and I know that the center is going to drop for the person on the hash, but since the animation for the person that's cutting is slow because you're playing up close, because you have a silver off-ball pass, by the time they get to the paint, the center is able to make the easiest rotation of his life just by looking at that side. And then, again, you have 91 steal, which means you get in between that line of sight, and that's an automatic steal in your favor. So there's no bucket from that either. So that's why I say this is the only way you would want to bring that one in. So yeah, that's pretty much that. Now there are two other bonus builds that I have here that are really good. To like really like, how can I say it? If you're trying to basically get a little bit more defense from your team, and you can run this 94 3-pointer, 85 75 72 91 91, and you get all this. This is a very good build. I love this build. This is my park build. I dominate in park with this build. I can dunk whenever I want. I can shoot whenever I want. I can score in the mid-range whenever I want. I can do my pass however I want. I can dribble however I want. And my defense is absolutely god tier. I shut down slashes with this build. This build is god tier. It's a 3-and-D point. A lot of people probably haven't made a build like that, but this build is honestly elite. You can do everything with this build. This build has no weaknesses. Which is the reason why I made it. I just don't think that it's me personally, I think you would need a little bit more slashing at param level. I just don't think it would be as good. You would have to have a big that rolls quite a lot in order to make that work, because your slashing is just not elite enough, or it's not scary enough to where someone has to sit in the paint or someone has to step up. So that way it opens up back door. So that's the reason why I wouldn't bring that one into param. Now another good build we have is this one here. This is my favorite point guard build currently, that I love and use 24/7. If I'm going to play PG, I'm probably going to play this one. I'm going to play the other one that I just deleted, so never mind, because I'm about to make that 6-6 with the defense. Anyways, this is my favorite PG build. Me personally, a 94 3-pointer gives me all the straps that I'm going to need in order to make it work. I would have liked to have gotten the 96, but I literally couldn't give up anything for that. So yeah, 95, 91, Hall of Fame speed booster. I'm stupid fast, and I also have contact dunks, and I'm also able to shoot like crazy. Now the thing about this build is this is one of those builds where it has good defense, elite dribbling, but it's a speed demon. So this 87 driving dunk is actually so good because I have Hall of Fame speed booster, which means the amount of quick stops and the amount of step sides that I can do. I call them step sides. I don't know if I made a video on that yet, but it's honestly impossible to guard this build which is the reason why if you wanted to make a build with 98 3-pointer on top of speed booster, that build would actually be really, really dominant at creating a 3-point shot. But then people would just play sides on you because you can't drive, you know. So that could be a problem. But this build is really, really good. It's my favorite PG build. Now this is my favorite on ball or hash lock or corner lock or whatever you want to call it. I can play everything. I can guard the 1 through 5 ish, mainly 1 through 4, but I can guard the 5 as well with this build. This is the build that I use whenever I'm playing lock. This build is dominant. Post score, I can create my own, guaranteed bucket with the drive and dunk. I have the mid range. I have the 3-point shot. I score over 28 points with this build. Again, this is the build I'm talking about. I throw absolute dots. I average 7 assists with this build, and my pass accuracy is this right now. Again, elite defense. That's all you need. So I can play again top right, middle, left hash. If you're playing 3-2, if the 2-3 doesn't work because you have enough shooters. All the speed, all the strength, all the excel, all the vertical that I'm going to need. I wish I could have got this to 80, but I would have to lower this a little bit. And I just wanted to make that. So if you wanted to make it a little better, I guess you could go for the 80 vertical for the chase downs. But the reason why I didn't go for the 80 vertical is because I just realized as I was testing the build that people really can't get by you anyway. So for me, it didn't feel like that was much of a need. So yeah, that's good. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed, man. It's Zooko. That's everything I have for you guys. We are 85,000.